Hey Virgo, welcome to your love and romance reading for December 2021. This is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I know a lot of people like to check out their Venus sign when it comes to love and romance, so I always include that intention as well. We're going to connect here and we're going to see what messages are coming up for the Virgo collective here for Love and Romance December 2021. And I remind you guys that every week I do weekly forecasts where I focus on everything other than love. So if you're curious about other areas of your life, be sure to check out the weekly forecasts as well. All right, Virgo, let's get right on into it. Let's see what's coming in for our Virgo darlings. First card coming up here is the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords can feel an energy that comes up when we're feeling kind of stuck or we're feeling kind of like we can't move forward, right? But the Eight of Swords wants us to know the situation is not as bad as we think it is, right? That rope is not around her that tight. She can shimmy out of it. She can pull off that blindfold and she can see that there's plenty of room for her to walk. She's not really stuck there. Sometimes the Eight of Swords comes up to say that the thing that you think is the problem is actually the solution. Meditate on that. Pray about that. Okay, whatever you think is the obstacle may actually be the opportunity. I see that happen a lot of times with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords can also sometimes come up when we're not feeling happy about a situation and we are looking for the right person to journey with. Not necessarily to rescue us, but to journey with. And I see the Eight of Swords come up in love readings a lot of the times for people who are like newly awakening, or you're awakening and you're around a bunch of people who are not waking up and you're like, man, I just feel really lonely. I feel like I'm surrounded by zombies. They don't see it. They don't get it. They're toxic. They're low vibrational. I just want to find my high vibrational person so I can get out of here, right? And then you feel really frustrated because you try to date, you try to meet people, and they just are very much not not what you need, not what you deserve, right? And so the Eight of Swords is like, you got to get out of this energy first. You got to get out of this circle first. You got to get out of this territory so that you can find the people and connect with the people who match your vibration. So for some of you, you might be feeling led or guided to geographically move. And you may be stressing out about, I don't know how that's going to happen. Believe me, there's been several times in my life where I felt really guided to move. And there were times in my life where I didn't have barely $1 to my name. And it manifested. It worked out. The door opened. So know and understand that if Spirit really is guiding you to move, it's gonna happen. Even if it's like in a miraculous way, it will happen. I have experienced it myself. But for other ones of you, it's gonna be more about disconnecting from a certain group, certain organizations, maybe a certain place to work. For some of you, your job is blocking you romantically. Either because of the fact that it's really interfering with any chance of having a personal life, or the energy of the people that you're around. Okay? I've said this before. I'll be really quick, but some of you need to hear it, and that's why I'm sharing it. I'm not sharing it to talk about myself. When I date or I'm in relationships, I date men. Okay? I'm attracted to men. And I was working in a law office where it was just a bunch of guys. But it was like being in a locker room, right? And they would say really horrible things, and they would be very disrespectful and really inappropriate, right? And I'm like, that's fine. They want to talk like that, that's fine. But like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be around it. Like, can you just not do it when I'm here? But it was just this attitude of like, deal with it, right? Like, they didn't care. They didn't care. Like you just need to put up with it. And so I would leave work every single day hating men. which is unfair because not all men are like that. But that was the environment I was in all day. So I would just leave like just hating men. And on the other hand, at that time, I was trying to manifest a relationship. But how can I manifest a relationship with a man if I'm walking around all the time at the end of the day absolutely hating men? Right? So if I was in that environment now, I've done my healing, I've done my, work on my triggers. I can't say that I would be happy there, but it wouldn't bother me as much it was bothering me. And I wouldn't have been able to heal from it or work through it until I left the environment. So some of you are having to leave that environment so that you can manifest what you're trying to manifest, right? You may be in a situation where you're attracted to women and you date women, but you're around some horrible, catty, gossipy, backstabbing, low vibrational feminine energy all day. And you walk away feeling like, oh, women are this and women are that, and oh, I can't stand women and they're so fake. How are you going to manifest a relationship? Or how are you going to be able to trust your partner at the end of the day? And so for some of you, it's like you have to remove yourself from that situation. You may be looking for the relationship or the friend to take you out of it, but you have to get out of it first. Your next card here is the Six of Wands. So even though this might be a scary time, and even though it might feel like you've got some challenges that you have to face or that you have to deal with, Six of Wands is telling us that you are going to accomplish it. You're going to be victorious. You're going to overcome the challenge. You're going to overcome the obstacle and the difficulty. And you're going to see yourself reaching victory. I see Six of Wands also come up a lot of the times when you're like beating out the competition. There might be someone that there are a lot of people who are chasing after them, who are wanting to be with them, and they just kind of see you sitting off in the sidelines, and they're like, oh, wow, Virgo's different. Virgo's interesting. Virgo is like not being thirsty. Virgo's not being desperate. Virgo's like, I'm kind of fascinated with Virgo. So you may be standing out from the crowd in some kind of a situation. And you might have somebody coming up to you and pursuing you, and you're like, wait a minute, you've got like all these people chasing after you, and you want to be with me. You're standing out as unique. You're standing out as special. I actually saw I'm really into documentaries. I was watching a documentary about the Romanovs, right? They were, the rulers of Russia before the whole, we all know what happened to Anastasia and all that. But way back in like the generations back, I can't remember the name of that one czar or king, but they had like a whole beauty contest for him to pick a queen, and there were all kinds of rules. Like she has to be between this height and this height. Her head has to be between these diameters and those diameters, and her shoe size needs to be between this size and that size. And she has to look healthy, and she has to be friendly but not too friendly. Like all these ridiculous things that he was given, that this is what you're supposed to base your judgment on. And he chose one of the maids that was helping the princess or duchess or whatever she was, she was there to like do the wardrobe stuff, to help her get changed, to help her get dressed, make sure her outfit was on point. And he chose one of the maids. That was the winner of the contest. That maid got to become the queen. This is a true story. Okay, so some of you are finding yourself in a situation where you're standing out, or you're in a situation where you have people chasing after you, and you're looking over and you're like, I like this person over here. This person's not thirsty. This person's not desperate. This person's living their life. They're working their job. They're doing them. They're taking care of them. And so I feel like there's this winner from the crowd or winner from the competition. Six of Wands also comes up when like people have been talking bad about you, or people have been trying to put you down, and there's some kind of vindication coming in. There's a sense of validation coming in. It's like, the truth is coming out. that they were accusing you of being some kind of way, but really it was them that was being that kind of way. Maybe some of you are coming out of a narcissistic relationship, and that person was going around saying all kinds of lies about you and trying to turn people against you. And there's this moment of vindication where it's like, no, Virgo wasn't the one doing those things. You know, the narcissist was the one doing those things. So for some of you, there's some kind of revelation. Maybe you felt like, well, I can't date, or I can't find a new relationship, or people think that I'm a cheater. People think that I'm, a bad person or a dishonest person, or I'm unstable in some kind of way. But the truth is coming out that you're not the one who's that way. The person going around saying the things is the one who's that way. So I feel there's some matter of like your reputation being cleared. And then you're like, okay, like I don't have to feel embarrassed, or I don't have to feel worried like people don't want to be with me. This can be especially true if you're in a small community, like in a small, close-knit town, or a religious community, or depending on your culture, right? If you come from a very like a culture that sticks together, or like there's like a cultural community, uh who are like considered immigrants, but you're in that community with your family. People are talking bad about me, people are saying all this stuff about me. I feel like there's some kind of vindication, there's some kind of like your name being cleared for some of you, where like you felt like your love life is blocked because somebody's been lying or somebody's been saying things that aren't true. Your next card that's coming up here is the King of Wands. This could be fire sign energy for some of you. Some of you could be dealing with a Leo, I was going to say Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. If you have a fire sign placement, this could be you coming into this energy. King of Wands could also indicate a very passionate type of person. Someone who has a lot of fire, somebody who's very ambitious, somebody who's very independent, somebody who maybe is successful, but in a non-conventional kind of way. And this might be something that maybe some of you Virgos are kind of hungry for right now, right? You want to be successful, but you want to be successful on your terms. You want to be successful, but you want to do the kind of work that you're passionate about. King of Wands is that kind of energy. So this could be a very generous, very dynamic, successful, go-getter kind of person, very entrepreneur kind of person. King of Wands is also going to be very passionate, right? So maybe that's something that some of you have been longing for, Virgo. You've been longing for passion, not just the connection, not just the loyalty, not just the commitment, not just the stability, but the passion. And so maybe some of you are giving yourself permission to want that. Maybe you've been feeling guilty about that. That, oh, you're focusing on superficial things, or, oh, like your hormones are getting the best of you. But there's nothing wrong with wanting that. There's nothing wrong with including that in the things that you're manifesting about a person. Sometimes the King of Wands could even be a lover type of relationship. And maybe some of you are like thinking, well, I want a relationship, but I want more of a lover. I'm not looking for somebody that I'm going to be, moving in with or getting married. So maybe some of you are debating that. Maybe you're defining within yourself what kind of relationship you want, what kind of connection that you want, right? Like a companion. Maybe some of you want more of a companion, but not necessarily a spouse. That could be something that some of you are trying to figure out. The next card coming up here for Virgo is the King of Swords. And this could be air sign energy. Some of you could be making a decision here because this can also be decisions and choices and negotiations and agreements. It can even be consulting an attorney or a lawyer. So maybe some of you have been feeling stuck in a situation and you're like, but I want to get out of it. You might be going to a lawyer. You might be going to someone for advice like, would I be able to protect my assets if I were to leave this relationship? Or would I be entitled to receive assets if I were to leave this relationship? There could be this sense of taking back your power, being in your ambition, being in your passion, and wanting to get unstuck. And you may be seeking out counsel for direction and how to do that. Because you're feeling this fire. You're seeing opportunities around you, and you're like, I don't want to be stuck here. I don't want to be Eight of Swords. I want to be King of Wands. And so you're coming as this energy here with the King of Swords, where some of you are seeking out counsel. King of Swords can also indicate making a decision based upon what is fair and what is logical. Right? So maybe some of you have been trying to guilt you or pressure you to be with somebody that you don't want to be with, or guilt you and pressure you into being in a certain kind of relationship that's not healthy for you. And so the King of Wands is saying that you're going to make your decision not based on emotions. You're not going to go do something, reckless and spontaneous and, leap from the frying pan into the fire, as we say. But you're going to make your transition in a logical way. You're going to look at what is a logical way to do this. What is a fair way to do this? So I feel here, Virgo, like some of you have some unfinished business. And it might be messing up your finances or making it difficult for you to just step away or walk away. And so you're looking at what needs to be done. What needs to be done? What are the procedures? What are the steps that I have to take? How can I come to a peaceful resolution where we can move past this situation without drama? How can we do this in a fair way? So I feel here, the King of Swords here is the logic that's coming in to get out of the Eight of Swords. What do I have to do? What steps do I have to take? Interestingly enough here, your first card is the Eight of Swords, and your last card is the Eight of Cups. I can't even make that up. Eight of Swords, you feel stuck. Eight of Cups, you're moving on. You're not quite sure where you're going. You're not quite sure what you're walking into, but you know there's more out there. And so, Taurus, some of you have been settling, and you're like, I don't want to settle anymore. I want to feel fulfilled. I know there's more out there. I know there's more out there for me. And some of you feel like you're wanting more of a sense of, like, with this King of Wands here, some of you are feeling like maybe you're wanting something less traditional. Maybe you're wanting to, be able, as I said, to have a companion or a travel buddy, or you want to embrace being single and meeting different people, or you just want to go out there and experience life and spend some time alone to figure out what love is for you, what kind of relationship you want for yourself. It's like you're wanting to find yourself. Some of you maybe have had a cycle where you've gone from one relationship to the next without a whole lot of time in between, or you got married, or you started living with somebody very young and you were never really able to find yourself. And so there's this sense or this feeling of, all right, it's time to find myself. Something is missing from my relationships. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm going to figure it out. And some of you have heard me say Eight of Cups for me a lot of the times in my readings comes up because the missing piece is our spiritual connection. And that can be the truth. Some of you need to work on your spiritual connection so that you can fully feel love. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like the vibe and the energy I'm getting here for Virgos is you were pressured into some relationship. And you want to get out of it. And you don't want to be pressured into something else. And you're just wanting some time to breathe and to figure it all out. to figure out who you are in this stage of your life, to figure out what you want in this stage of your life. You know you want love. You know you want a relationship, but it's like you're needing some time alone to clear your head and to figure out what that's going to look like for you. You're coming into this quest of finding yourself. You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus. If this is none of those for you, it might resonate more than your sun sign. You may want to check out the weekly forecasts as well. If you would like a private reading with me, you can schedule by going to calendly.com/amethystangelite. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful December, my dears. See you in the weeklies.